Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, baseball fans, listening to the TCCAA Baseball Conference Tournament hosted by Volunteer State Community College here in Gallatin, Tennessee. This is Tim Reese. I am joined by Reagan Smith, who is producing the show. Found out you have an official title, producer. And we are moments away from the game one of the 2-and-out tournament after playing two play-in games on Sunday and Monday. Continuation due to weather. Had a little bit of weather that came in last night here in Middle Tennessee. The field was tarp, but wind pulled the tarp back just a little bit right in the shortstop hole and behind third base, but appears as though all is well there. The outfield will be a bit mushy, but we should be able to get 4 ball games in today. I don't think there's any additional precipitation that is forecasted here for Middle Tennessee. Today's combatants in game one, Columbia State will take on Dyersburg State, a matchup of number 5 Columbia State and number 4 Dyersburg. Let's get to the Toyota of Gallatin starting lineups. As you see, the umpires have come out onto the field while the crew from GTSF, our grounds crew here all week, Game Time Sports Field, owned by Bill Marbett. He and his crew from Line to Line are together, and they have been conducting all kinds of work here, both on the baseball field and the softball field across campus. They have been busy bees over the last few days, so we thank Bill Marbett and Stephen Dotson and their crew for all their hard work, along with the coaches here. Head coach Jim McGuire and Braden Kale, the pitching coach, and John Ripel have been very busy as well. Let's get to the Toyota of Gallatin starting lineups. First for the visitors today, the Columbia State Chargers. Leading off, playing third base, Preston Shelton. Batting second, playing left field, Charlie Davis. The DH and the 3-hole hitter today is Jackson Diamond. Carter Davis will hit cleanup, playing right field. Abbott Lawrence batting fifth, playing first base. Second baseman Merrick Carter will bat sixth. Abner Rodriguez will be behind the plate, and he'll bat seventh. Andrew Reed out in center field, batting eighth. Carter Warner will bat ninth and play shortstop. And on the mound for the Chargers, right-handed sophomore Ryan Deggs. He will not bat. He will just be on the mound, a 300 hitter, but he is not in the Columbia State lineup. Columbia State has co-head coaches Desi Amons and Cody Crutcher. Now for the homestanding Dyersburg State Eagles, leading off, playing shortstop, Julian Gonzalez. Batting second, Andy Martin. Playing center field, Pierre Seals in right field, batting third, Rylan Quinones. Cleanup hitter plays first base, Gustavo Gonzalez will play third base and bat fifth. The DH, Mason Krasnarich, batting sixth. Christopher Alvarez at second base, batting seventh. The number 8 hitter, Christopher Lugo, playing left field. And the catcher, Parker Patterson, will bat ninth. And on the mound, sophomore left-hander Anthony Figueroa, transfer from Miami-Dade. 5'9", and he is one of the top strikeout pitchers in the country, but he's only number 2 in the conference as he sits behind Colton Brumley, who is the national leader. Anthony Figueroa comes in with 101 strikeouts, second in the conference, 10th in the country. Brumley with 120 sits first in the conference and first in the country. Eagles head coach Robert White, assisted by Tyler Brown. Columbia State comes in with a record of 22-24. This is their 47th game of the year. 15-10 in the conference, which was a tie with Dyersburg State, but the tiebreaker went to the Eagles, who had an overall record of 31-19. These two teams played only 2 games as the game number 3 was rained out. And we are about set for the national anthem. We will go mute on the national anthem. We don't want to get kicked off of YouTube. So we'll be right back after our Star Spangled Banner. And our public address announcer, Alex Qualls, says,
Play ball.
Play ball. We're getting started a little bit closer to 10 o'clock than I thought. I thought that we would have a little bit longer of a wait time while the grounds crew tidied up after the rains from last night. Field looks beautiful. We'll see how sloppily the outfield is as the outfielders run around out there. The infield should play well. Dyersburg State will have a defense that goes like this. Christopher Lugo in left field, Andy Martin in center, Pierre Seals in right field. The Gonzalez duo, Gustavo and Julian, on the left side of the infield. Don't believe they're related. Christopher Alvarez and Rylan Quinones on the right side. Parker Patterson behind the plate, and he will catch the 5'9" Anthony Figueroa. Don't let his diminutive stature fool you. He can bring it. Last year, I believe he was up to about 96, 97, was one of the top strikeout pitchers, and actually was number 1 for several weeks during the 2022 season. Had an issue that kept him out for, I think, about the last 3 weeks of the season, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and that shut down any chance that he might get to lead the country in strikeouts. Ended up coming back in the conference tournament that was played at Chattanooga State, won by Walter State, who is, as of this week now, the number 1 team in all the land again. And Walter State will play game number 2. They will play Roane State following this game. Dyersburg State Lady Eagles won yesterday's game over Cleveland State. They won't have to play again until tomorrow. They, along with the Lady Pioneers of Volunteer State, get byes today. There'll be 4 games across campus on the softball side of the TCCAA Region 7 conference tournaments. Figueroa finishes up his warm-up tosses. Parker Patterson with a strike down to second base. We are about to get started with Preston Shelton stepping to the plate. 43rd game of the year for Preston, hitting .329, no home runs, 25 RBIs. Figueroa toes the rubber and delivers. First pitch is driven into center field for a base hit. This game has started at 10:04 Central. Game time temperature 74 degrees. Just the way you want to start game one of a tournament. First pitch, single. That is, if you're the batter, Preston Shelton. Shelton from Lewisburg, Tennessee, Marshall County. Now stepping in, the top hitter for the Chargers, Charlie Davis, hitting from the left side, hitting .408. Pitch is a little bit high and gets by Parker Patterson. Not sure if he was crossed up on that one or not, but that'll be a pass ball to get Preston Shelton down to second base. Dyersburg State wearing their home white pants and the red tops. Blue hats. Columbia State wearing their road grays and black tops. Square around a bunt, drag bunt, sacrifice bunt combination there, and Charlie Davis fouls that one toward the Dyersburg State dugout. Charlie Davis was injured earlier in the year, and actually probably about the middle of the year, and he's just gotten back. He missed 9 games due to that injury, and he made second team all-conference at third base. Pitch goes low, count goes to 2 balls and a strike. Columbia State had 2 players on the second team. Jackson Diamond, who is the DH today, is second team all-conference at second base. Dyersburg State had their center fielder on the first team. That ball gets away from Parker Patterson, and Shelton will move down to third base. It appeared as though that ball maybe have gotten into the dirt a little bit, so I'm going to assume the official scorer would rule a wild pitch. So a single, a pass ball, and a wild pitch have gotten Columbia State runner to third base. Preston Shelton looking to score the Framework Athletics first run of the game. Charlie Davis with 21 RBIs on the season. Ground ball to first base, that will go foul. Count now goes full, and we'll have a Full Count Ministries full count. Thanks to the folks at Full Count Ministries to allow me to use their broadcast equipment I use in the summer for the Full Count Rhythm Ohio Valley League team that I've broadcasted for. And here's a full count pitch, grounded up the middle. That'll get a run in. Christopher Alvarez ranges to the middle of the field. Throw to first base is in the dirt, but that will be an infield single for Charlie Davis and an RBI. And there is the Framework Athletics first run of the game. Framework Athletics located Jessica Lauren Court here in Hendersonville, and it's where teams go to train baseball and softball, and it's owned by 15-year Major League veteran Zach Duke and Ryan McDuffie, who's co-owner of CrossFit Hendersonville. We thank them for their support of Volunteer State Athletics. Not sure what we're looking at down the right field line. Apparently there's maybe some kind of a groundskeeping issue, as Ken Garner, our umpiring crew chief, as it appears, who's the third base umpire, is called timeout. He's standing at pitcher's mound. First base umpire Christian Moffitt comes over. Apparently has some sort of a tool maybe that Anthony Figueroa needs to get the mud out of his cleats. Home plate umpire is Gregory Backus. Figueroa is digging at that cleat. Coach Jim McGuire, the Volunteer State Pioneer, is probably not happy that he's digging it and putting it on the grass. Probably wants him to put it on the dirt. As I've been out here before with my blower to blow dirt off of the grass into the dirt. So 2 hits for Columbia State, the first 2 batters. And they have taken the early lead. We're in the top of the first inning, just getting started. Preston Shelton on the first pitch he saw drove a line drive right up into center field. Went to second on a pass ball, went to third on a wild pitch, and then scored on an infield single. Looks like we're ready for action again after a few-minute delay. Jackson Diamond, the second-team all-conference second baseman, steps in, hitting .343. Has to get out of the way of that fastball. Figueroa has only hit 2 batters, but he has uncorked quite a few wild pitches, 15 of them on the year, now 16. Now gone 2 balls and no strikes to the DH. Diamond from Johnson City, Tennessee, Science Hill High School, 6 foot, 190-pound freshman. Figueroa now gone 3 balls and no strikes. Robert White, head coach for the Eagles, got to be wondering what's going on. One of his top pitchers, Anthony Figueroa, struggling here in the top of the first. Charlie Davis leads off, and he'll watch a strike on the inside corner to his teammate Jackson Diamond. Davis, 20 stolen bases in 24 attempts. He won't have to steal second. He'll just trot on down as Diamond walks. Let's see if that draws doesn't draw a visit from the coach, but it does draw some action down in the Dyersburg State bullpen. Right fielder Carter Davis will come to the plate, playing in game number 43 of the year. Right fielder hitting .282, 8 home runs, 29 RBIs. From Covington, Tennessee, he will square to bunt, try to lay down a bunt that about hit him in the shin, and he fouls that one down to third base coach. I believe that is Desi Amons. Mike Korn was the head coach for a number of years here at Columbia State, and right before the fall began this past year, he exited Columbia State and went over to Walters State, became an assistant coach, recruiting coordinator, and that left the 2 assistant coaches as a co-head coach. There's another bunt that will go foul as well. Looks like Carter Davis doesn't want to really sacrifice himself. It looks like he's trying to drag that bunt. He's now down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Oh, 2 pitch, nobody out. 2 runners on, 1 run in already for Columbia State. This is game 1 of the 2-and-out tournament. Swing and a miss on a nice slider from Figueroa, and there is strikeout number 1. See a few of those. And now, not a good recipe right here for Columbia State. As we have one of the top strikeout pitchers in the country, and we have the number 1 strikeout batter in the country, Abbott Lawrence from Goodpasture High School. He struck out 72 times on the year, hitting .243. Does lead the squad in home runs with 10, has 32 RBIs. A sophomore from right here in Middle Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. He swings and fouls that one straight back. Count goes 1 ball, 1 strike. Abbott Lawrence had a really good year a year ago. Has struggled at the plate with the swing and miss. Figueroa needs a ground ball to get out of the inning. The runner from second goes, swing and a miss. And there is a stolen base for Charlie Davis. Jackson Diamond stays at first. Davis picks up his 21st stolen base, and we have a line-to-line first and third situation. Line-to-line provided the padding and the netting. Screens all around the Pioneer Field here at the Tim Garrett Baseball Complex. Steven Dodson heads that squad up. Let's see if Diamond takes off. He looks like he wants, and he does go. There is no throw. So a stolen base for Diamond. Some official scorers may not give him a stolen base. Go to defensive indifference, but runners are now at second and third. I am not the official scorer, so I can put down whatever I want in my book. I do try to do it accurately. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 2 runners in scoring position, and a swing and a miss. Down goes Lawrence on a fastball that faded away. 2 outs now, both on strikeouts. Merritt Carter will step to the plate.
Now batting for the Chargers,
second baseman.
Number 7, Merritt Carter.
From Shelbyville, Tennessee. He attended Rockvale High School. Just outside of Murfreesboro. 6'1", 190-pound freshman. Hitting .302. Taps one toward second base. Falls down right out of the batter's box. That'll be an easy play for Christopher Alvarez. And Figueroa works out of a jam. But Columbia State does score 1 run on 2 hits. No errors. 2 runners left on base. We're through a half an inning. Columbia State leads 1-0. You are watching the TCCAA Baseball Conference Tournament on the VolState Sports Network. Tim Reese, Reagan Smith back for the bottom of the first inning here in game 1 of a quadruple header today. I don't know if I can even announce all of the 4 game participants here. I probably could get to it. Today's game 1 is Columbia State taking on Dyersburg State, a matchup of the number 4 and number 5 seeds. Number 4 seed Dyersburg State will get their chance to hit off of Ryan Deggs. It will send Julian Gonzalez, Andy Martin, and Pierre Seals to the plate as Deggs is finishing up his warm-up tosses. Dyersburg State with an excellent pitching team. Great ERA, both overall and in a conference, but their hitting has been down this year. In the conference, they were 9th in the conference in hitting. Deggs delivers the first pitch to Gonzalez. He takes a strike right down the can. Gonzalez playing in game number 47. This is 51 for Dyersburg State. He looks at another strike on the outside corner. Hitting .270, 4 home runs, 32 RBIs. Gonzalez, a sophomore, 6 foot tall, from transfer Florida International University. Way outside. Abner Rodriguez now has a longer left arm than he does right after making the catch on that one. Fastball that got away from Deggs. He rocks and fires, swing and a miss on a high fastball. Down goes Gonzalez. That will bring Andy Martin to the plate. He's tied for second in home runs in the conference. He has 15. I'm sorry, he's tied for third.
Andy Martin.
Well, apparently he's in third all by himself. I thought that Holloway had gotten up to 15, but he had not. First pitch in there for a strike, at least says Gregory Backus. I don't think Andy Martin thought that was a strike. 15 home runs, 45 RBIs for Martin. Another strike. Deggs is living on that white line in the left-handed batter's box. Martin has power to right field, so he stays out there, and Martin looks for it as he wanted to call for timeout. Umpire did not give it to him. Jace Mizell led the conference this year in home runs, 17 home runs. Daniel Ortiz, Mizell's from Volunteer State Community College. Daniel Ortiz from Walter State, 16. And there is a strike three looking. Andy Martin did not swing the bat. I don't believe there was a pitch that got inside that river the entire at-bat. The river is the area between the home plate on the outside portion and the white line of the other batter's box. I'd say if you went back and looked at that video, you would not see a ball that was across that 17-inch plate. Pierre Seal steps in with nobody on and 2 outs. Right fielder playing in game number 51 of the year. Played in every game for Dyersburg State. Hitting .258, 9 home runs, 37 RBIs. From Memphis, Tennessee, Houston High School. 6 foot sophomore takes a rip at a 2-0 pitch, comes up empty. Rylan Quinones is on deck. First time I've seen Deggs pitch this year. That ball is driven high in the air. I don't know that it's deep enough. It is not. Charlie Davis out there in left field waves everybody off and makes the catch for out number 3. 3 up, 3 down for Dyersburg State. Columbia State leads 1-0 here in game 1 of the Region 7 baseball tournament here in Gallatin, Tennessee on the VolState Sports Network. Scheduled for 9 innings here, and we are in inning number 2. Columbia State sent 6 batters to the plate in the top of the first. First 2 batters singled. Preston Shelton, the leadoff batter, ended up scoring. Abner Rodriguez, the 7-hole hitter, steps in. He hits a line drive to second baseman Christopher Alvarez. who makes the catch for out number 1. Both leadoff batters have swung at the first pitch. Preston Shelton got a line drive base hit in the first, and Abner Rodriguez happened to hit his right at the second baseman. Andrew Reed, center fielder, steps to the plate. Playing in game number 45, hitting .267, 6 home runs, 26 RBIs. Swings at the first pitch as well, comes up empty. The big strikeout pitcher, I guess you want to get on early. Pitch down in the dirt, looked like a changeup. Andrew Reed, 5'10", 190-pound COVID sophomore from Brownsville, Tennessee, attended Haywood High School. Swing and a miss. On deck, Carter Warner, the shortstop. Swing and a miss. Reed got his money's worth up there. Abbott Lawrence, or Andy Martine, who went down on 3 pitches outside corner of the plate in the previous half inning, did not get his money's worth, but Andrew Reed did. That's the 3rd strikeout for Anthony Figueroa. 2 outs. Carter Warner, the shortstop, number 9 hitter, steps in, and he swings at the first pitch. Warner from Murfreesboro Blackman High School, 5'11", 160 pounds. And that's the pitch that Deggs was getting in the last half inning. Hitters will have to adjust to that pitch. Another pitch in the dirt, gets away. So scoreboard acting up again. Alex looked up there after what I thought was 2 pitches, and it still said 0-1. Have a little delay sometimes. Now we got 1 ball, 2 strikes, and now we have another strikeout. Ball's in the dirt. Patterson will throw down to first base to record the strikeout, the 4th of the game for Anthony Figueroa. A little better inning for the Eagles. It was a 1-2-3 inning. Headed to the bottom of the 2nd. Columbia State leads 1-0. You are listening to the VolState Sports Network. Dyersburg State sends 4, 5, and 6 to the plate to face Ryan Deggs, who retired the Eagles in order in the bottom of the 1st inning.
Number 33, Rylan Quinones.
Deggs, this is his 13th appearance of the year, 5th start. Breaking pitch catches the inside corner to Quinones. It's a good-looking player right here. It says he's 6'3". Their roster does not give weight. He looks to be every bit of 2 1/4, solidly built. First baseman. Does not give hometowns on their roster either. It shows a previous school, so that ball's hit high in the air, but that should be playable for Charlie Davis again. Looking up into the sun, and he'll make the catch. It's 2 catches in a row for Charlie Davis out in left field. Little pattern going, 2 strikeouts, then 2 flyouts to left field.
Now batting for the Eagles, Number 23.
Gustavo Gonzalez, a third baseman, steps in. Transfer from Rochester Community and Technical College. 6-foot sophomore. Playing in game number 16. I'm not sure if he was injured or just got a late start, but he is hitting .452 in the 15 games that he's played. 1 home run, 2 RBIs. He, I believe, started the last 7 games for Dyersburg State. Gone 10 for 21 with a double and a home run. Fouls that breaking pitch off to the right side, and MGM Industries foul ball. Assistant coach right there, Oscar. I can't remember his last name. It may be Martine. He might be related to one of these players. I met him when we were up at VolState. There's another breaking pitch in the dirt. Looked like Deggs was throwing a lot of fastballs in the first inning. Looks like he's gone to that breaking pitch here in inning number 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Deggs delivers a fastball, and Gustavo Gonzalez is behind on that one. Deggs walking off the mound on a pitch that was cut the left-handed batter's box in half practically. We have a full count. Ministries, full count. See if he swings, if he fouls it off, and he does. It's our first full count, first pitch foul ball. Do not listen to a broadcast. It's one of the little stats that I keep up with. Major League, I've learned over 40 years. Major League average that if the batter swings at the first pitch after the count becomes full, 70% of the time he'll foul it off. There's a ball 4 and the first base runner for the Dyersburg State Eagles. Brings to the plate the DH, Mason Krznaric.
Next to bat for the Eagles, number 35, Mason Krznaric.
Says he's a freshman, but I remember him playing last year. Maybe he didn't play enough games. 6'6", left-handed hitter. Long pause. Pitch is swung on and fouled off. Went to high school in Arizona, Red Mountain High School. I'm not exactly sure where that is. But Mason Krznaric playing in game number 35, hitting .228. 57 official at-bats, 13 hits, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. That pitch misses down low. Abner Rodriguez keeping an eye on Gustavo Gonzalez. In his 15 games, he has 1 stolen base in 1 attempt. Deggs looking for a do-dat double play, and he'll throw over to first base. Craig Senard of Do-Dat Communications provided signage for the tournament as well as the remodeled press box here. We thank Do-Dat Communications. If you need it, they can do dat. Go to dodat.com to find out all that Do-Dat Communications does. Count goes 2 balls and a strike to the left-handed hitting Krznaric. Common spelling of Krznaric, K-R-Z-N-A-R-I-C-H. Popped up down the left field line. It's foul territory, but it could be playable. Hits right off of the Rawlings sign in front of the home bullpen. Wet area down there. That's where the drainage goes from the outfield. Not sure how much rain we got last night, but appears though it was not a little amount. Charlie Davis out in left field looks like he's moving around well enough. Throw over to first base. Gonzalez back in time. Charlie Davison left. Andrew Reed playing over into left center field, playing Krasnarich to go opposite way. Carter Davison right is also playing almost in right center field. Not expecting Krasnarich to get around on it. There's a high fastball. Brings us to another full count, Ministries full count. Preston Shelton down at third. Carter Warner at short. Merritt Carter at second. Abbott Lawrence first base. Abner Rodriguez behind the plate. Catching Ryan Deggs. Runner does not go. Pitch is lined over the head of Carter at second base. Shot out to center field. Gonzalez will hang tight at second base. That ball was roped. There's a no on our full count first pitch foul ball. He smoked that one out there to right center field. So the defensive alignment there was fine, except for Merritt Carter should have been about 12'8" instead of 6'1". Christopher Alvarez steps in, second baseman, after Mason Krasnarich gets the first hit of the ball game for Dyersburg. Breaking pitch pops in and out of the glove of Rodriguez, but beautiful pitch. Alvarez, 6'1" freshman, went to high school at Southwest Miami Senior High School down in Florida. Playing in game number 39, hitting .268, 1 home run, 11 RBIs. He's up with 2 on and 1 out. Now down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. On deck, Christopher Lugo. Got a good bit of connection points with names. A couple Christophers in Dyersburg's lineups, a couple Gonzalez's. Then on the Columbia State side, got a couple Carters, first name and last name. That pitch yanked way outside. 2 Davises, a Charlie and a Carter. It's going to keep my mind going as looks like Alvarez, maybe in his backswing, hits Rodriguez. Not sure if Rodriguez is a little bit tight on home plate or if Alvarez just has a practice swing that needs a little more room. One-two. Just misses outside. I would say that pitch has been called a strike. I believe Andy Martine would say the same thing. Rylan Quinones led the inning off with a flyout. Then Gustavo Gonzalez walked, moved down to second base on the single by Mason Krasnarich. Now 2 on, the 2-2 count to Alvarez. He pops one up, and that will get out of play. An MGM Industries foul ball. Thankful to Joe Gaskins and Patrick Stewart, his son-in-law, over at MGM Industries for the custom windows that they put in here in the press box. We can actually see out these windows. Last year that was not the case. Another foul off to the right side. Thanks also to Right Rug Flooring, my buddy Kerry Gilbert, who supported Volunteer State baseball by installing brand new carpeting, as well as my lovely wife Susan Reese, who supervised me with the painting of the inside of the press box. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Christopher Alvarez hanging tough on Ryan Deggs, and a third straight foul ball off to the right side. And as Alex Qualls says, please return all foul balls to the third base dugout. That announcement brought to you by MGM Industries. Reagan Smith, do we have those chats up where you could actually do it, or do you got to do it on your phone? Do you? Okay, I notice if you're watching, and you might see an ability to chat on the YouTube channel. It's something new for us. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch. Pops out of the glove of Rodriguez, but with less than 2 outs and a runner at first base, the batter is automatically out. That's the third strikeout for Deggs. Second out of the inning. Christopher Lugo, now the man between Columbia State and a 0 in the bottom of the second inning. Lugo, 5'11" freshman from Puerto Rico International Baseball Academy, playing in game number 33 of the year. 5 home runs, 21 RBIs. Deggs throws another breaking pitch. Not sure if he calls it a slider or curveball. It's a pretty sharp breaker and pretty hard. Swing and a miss by Lugo. Number 9 hitter Parker Patterson on deck. Outfielders playing straight away. Another breaking pitch, another swing and a miss. Deggs living on that outside corner. Two outs, 2 on, 2 strikes to the batter. Ryan Deggs with a 2-2 record, trying to get win number 3. That ball's in the dirt. Must have been a changeup. I believe he has committed to go to a 4-year school already, but I don't remember now what I was told. I ended up not being able to broadcast for VolState that game. Columbia State has their own broadcaster, so he broadcasted the 3-game series there. There's a pitch. The right side of the infield starts to walk off as that pitch on that outside zone. Not called a strike this time. But I did talk to some of the players prior to that game, or the first game, and I believe that Deggs has committed to another school. I'll effort to get that as he gets a swing and a miss by Lugo, and that will end the inning. 4 strikeout for Ryan Deggs, D-E-G-G-E-S, and strands 2 runners. We're through 2, scheduled for 9, 1-0 Columbia State. You are watching the TCCAA Baseball Conference Tournament on VolState Sports Network. Top of the third, Columbia State leads 1-0. Back to the top of the lineup for the Chargers. Preston Shelton, who led off the ball game with a rope single right up the middle. He has scored the only run of the game. Swings at a first pitch again, hits one down the right field line. That will go foul, and Pierre Seals will not have a play on that one. Anthony Figueroa, rough first inning, at least rough first 3 batters. Another one is tapped foul past the Eagles dugout. After 3 batters, head coach Robert White got somebody loosening down in that bullpen, and that must have motivated Anthony Figueroa. He's retired the next 6 batters. 0-2 pitch, and there's another base hit right up the middle by Preston Shelton. He's got Figueroa's number. Figueroa did not pitch against Columbia State in their 2-game set back in March. Dylan King and Cole O'Brien.
Now batting for the Chargers, number 8, Charlie Davis.
I'm sorry, it wasn't Cole O'Brien's on Columbia State. Patrick Green, I believe. Charlie Davis steps to the plate. He swings at the first pitch, fouls that off. Connor Burt pitched game 1 for Dyersburg State. Went 8 innings, 4 hit, 1 run baseball. Was set to get the loss, but Andy Martine in the bottom of the 9th hit a 2-run home run. That 0-2 pitch fouled off, out of play. That will get into the road right in front of the Walters State bus that's heading out toward left field. Justin Kenyon went 7 innings for Columbia State in that game. Gave up 3 hits, no runs. Patrick Green got 3 outs in the 8th without giving up a run, but I think it was Pierre Seals. Let's check that. That was Rylan Quinones. Got a single in the bottom of the 9th, and then Andy Martine delivered a walk-off 2-run homer to win 2-1. Swing and a miss. Down goes Charlie Davis on a nasty breaking pitch. Strikeout number 5 for Anthony Figueroa. So 1 out, 1 on.
The Chargers, number 23, Jackson Diamond.
Game 2 of that, a 7-inning game. Columbia State won 8-3. Dylan King started that game. Did not finish. Throw over to first base. Preston Shelton back in time. Shelton 20 out of 24 stolen bases. There's a line drive, base hit into right center field by Jackson Diamond. Shelton stumbles coming around second base, and he'll return to the bag. Preston Shelton on base twice now. He walked in the first and now singled. 4 hits for Columbia State. Came in conference play hitting .294, which was good enough for 4th in the conference. Overall .287, which is 6th. So better conference batting average than overall batting average. Carter Davis steps to the plate. He struck out, started that string of 6 straight, retired by Anthony Figueroa. Strike called on the outside corner. On deck, Abbott Lawrence. So Figueroa getting himself in trouble again here with 1 out and 2 on. Changeup misses down low, blocked by Parker Patterson, a freshman from Dyer County, New Bern, Tennessee, is Parker Patterson. Talked to his grandfather while VolState was up at Dyersburg earlier this year, and Parker Patterson, a good-looking player, good hitter, and very good defensive catcher. That one tapped foul at the plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the right fielder for Columbia State. Both these teams finished 15-10 in the conference. They split their 2-game set. I'm not sure what the next tiebreaker would have been. Maybe it's total runs. That wouldn't be it because Columbia State scored 9. Dyersburg State scored 5. Maybe it was overall record. Fastball misses outside. Christopher Lugo in left, Andy Martin in center, Pierre Seals in right, Gustavo Gonzalez third base, Julian Gonzalez at short, Christopher Alvarez at second, Rylan Quinones at first base, playing right at the edge of the grass, and Parker Patterson behind the plate catching. This pitch from Anthony Figueroa has popped up into shallow center field. Andy Martin will not be able to get to it. Everyone will advance 1 base, and the bases will be loaded. 3 hits here in the inning. That was a flare that dropped in front of center fielder Andy Martin. Abbott Lawrence steps in, and he will have an opportunity to drive in some runs. He was at the plate with 1 out and runners at second and third in the first inning, and he struck out. Swing and a miss on like a changeup. They're going soft, I think, on Abbott Lawrence. If you're going to challenge Lawrence, you might want to challenge him with a fastball up. You better get it up. He can send the ball a long way if he gets a hold of it. There's another changeup, misses low and away. Only walked 13 times, been hit 6 as Abbott Lawrence. 6'5", first baseman. I heard a grunt out there, but I don't think that was a fastball. I think maybe a third changeup. See if they go breaking pitch right here on the 2-1 with bases loaded and 1 out. Columbia State scored 1 in the first, threatening again here, and they go changeup again. He swings over it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. A year ago, it was Abbott Lawrence and Jackson Jarvis, the big home run hitters for Columbia State. Jackson Jarvis has moved on to Reinhardt. There's a line drive that will go foul down that third base line. Kick up some water in a puddle down there. Just ahead of something soft again. Coach Oscar out with 5 more baseballs for home plate umpire Gregory Backus. Ken Garner out in the middle of the field. He's the third base umpire. Christian Moffitt down at first base. Ken Garner from Knoxville. He's from the east portion of the conference. Christian Moffitt, the first base umpires from Middle Tennessee, and Gregory Backus from West Tennessee. Line drive into center field. This should score 1. Andy Martin makes the catch. Here comes the runner. Strong throw to the plate. Just up the line, and it gets by Parker Patterson, and the runners will move up on the errant throw by Andy Martin. Sacrifice fly for Abbott Lawrence. Anthony Figueroa was backing up the play, just was too close to the action and not in the right position. Now 2 outs.
Now batting for the Chargers,
Preston Shelton
number 7,
scores his second run of the game. We will have a visit from Robert White, the head coach for Dyersburg State. The first error of the ball game goes to Dyersburg State on the errant throw that allowed both runners to move up a base. So 3 hits in the inning have produced 1 run. Now action stirring in the Dyersburg State bullpen. A right-hander is up. We can't see the number yet, but try to get that to you. But that was a well-struck ball off the bat of Abbott Lawrence. So with 2 outs and runners now at second and third, Merritt Carter will step to the plate. He grounded out to second base to end the first. The visit is over, and Figueroa on the mound, and he is set to deliver. Breaking pitch goes high. Preston Shelton, as he did in inning number 1, led off the inning with a single up the middle. After a strikeout, Jackson Diamond singled. There's a ground ball to first base. Tough hop for Rylan Quinones, but he smothers that one to his chest and will step on first base for out number 3. Columbia State strikes again with 1 run on 3 hits. There was 1 error, does not cost the Eagles, and 2 more runners left on base. After 2.5, Columbia State leads 2-0. You are watching the VolState Sports Network on YouTube. Now in the bottom of the 3rd inning, Abner Rodriguez, Andrew Reed, Carter Warner, the bottom 3 in the Dyersburg State lineup, scheduled to face Ryan Deggs. There's a ground ball that will go foul. Robert White, the third base coach, does not make an attempt. Smart man. I believe that is Tyler Brown down there at first base, the assistant coach. Columbia State with a run in the first and a run in the third. You know, I gave the wrong. Columbia State is not going to bat here in this inning. So for those of you that know that this is Parker Patterson and not Abner Rodriguez, I swapped the catchers. 9-1-2 for Dyersburg State. Pitch must have been a little high. Patterson, first at bat of the day, 50th game of the year, hitting .269. There's a ground ball to second. That will get off the glove of Merritt Carter and slide into right field. There is a E4. Looked like that ball took a little bit of a right turn right before it got to Merritt Carter. So now each team with an error.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 38, Julian Gonzalez.
Back to the top of the lineup, Julian Gonzalez, who struck out. Lead off the ball game for Dyersburg State. Steps in there, the shortstop. Breaking pitch. Slider goes high. Carter Warner and Merritt Carter, the middle infielders, Can I call them the Carter twins? Looking for a dude that double play ball right here. Pitch in the dirt. Count goes 2 balls and no strikes. On deck, Andy Martine. Game time temperature of 74 degrees. The wind was out of the northwest at 3 miles an hour. See the U.S. flag out in center field is just barely waving a bit. Starting to pick up actually a little. It was still at game time. Deggs now the second time through the order. 3 balls and no strikes. Having trouble throwing strikes. So he walks Gonzalez. It's his second walk of the ball game. 2 walks have gone to the Gonzaleses. Julian and Gustavo. Andy Martine steps to the plate, a very dangerous hitter. 15 home runs, 45 RBIs.
Next to bat for the Eagles, number 10, Andy Martine.
Andy Martine is tied for 30th in the country with 15 home runs. Jace Mizell, the conference leader from VolState, tied for 17th with his 17 home runs. Daniel Ortiz has 16, tied for 20th with Walter State. Martine tied for 13th in the conference with 45 RBIs. Leader is Corbin Shaw from Walter State. Here's a swing, an aggressive approach right there after a 4-pitch walk, and Martine trying to ambush a fastball from Deggs and just missed it. Lots of sunshine here in Gallatin, Tennessee. No outs, 2 on. Breaking pitch swung on and missed. Martine, who looked at 3 strikes that were arguably in the left-handed batter's box in his first plate appearance, up there hacking. Did not agree with, I believe, any of those strike calls in that first at-bat. Down in the count, 0-2. Grounds to third. Shelton to second, on to first base, and that is a dude-dat double play, 5-4 to 3. Just what the doctor ordered for Ryan Deggs. Nice turn. Parker Patterson moves over to third base. Julian Gonzalez erased at second. 2 outs now and a runner at third base. Pierre Seal steps in. He flew out to Charlie Davis in left field to end the first inning. Breaking pitch misses high. The 1-0. Another breaking pitch. That catches the inside corner. Pierre Seals and Andy Martine, the only players for Dyersburg State to play all or every game for the Eagles. Columbia State did not have one player play every game. 2-1 misses down low. 3 balls and a strike to the right fielder from Dyersburg. Foul ball. The Full Count Ministries Full Count. Go to fullcountministries.com. See all that the ministry is doing in the area of baseball here in Middle Tennessee and around the world, especially down in Nicaragua. Breaking pitch driven out to left field. Charlie Davis over and will make a diving attempt and catch. What a play by Charlie Davis to end the Dyersburg State threat. That ball was smoked into left field to Charlie Davis's right and put a star by that one. That saved at least a run, and who knows what would have happened after that. No runs, no hits, one error, one runner left on base. We are through 3 innings, 2-0, Columbia State over Dyersburg State. You're watching the TCCAA Conference Tournament. Headed to the top of the 4th inning. Now Abner Rodriguez, Andrew Reed, and Carter Warner will come to the plate. We're playing by regular baseball rules here, folks. One team bats and then the other one does. Rodriguez, first pitch hitting, drives one out to right center field. Andy Martin will slide over and make that catch for out number 1. Rodriguez now 0 for 2, hit a line drive to the second baseman in the 2nd inning.
Now batting for the Chargers, number 11.
Second
Andrew
inning
Reed.
that Rodriguez has led off. Andrew Reed steps in. He struck out swinging. Part of the 3 up, 3 down in the second, and he will square around the bunt. Pitch goes inside, and he was able to get the bat out of the way of that one. Count now goes 2 balls, no strikes. Pitch in dirt, 3 balls, no strikes to Andrew Reed. And that's a 4-pitch walk. Second walk by Figueroa. Columbia State on a 5-game losing streak to end the season.
Next to bat for the Chargers, number 3, Carter Warner.
Dyersburg State also on a current losing streak of 3 games. They've had 2 3-game losing streaks during the year. Dyersburg State's had a 6-game winning streak, as has Columbia State. Carter Warner steps in, 1 on and 1 out. Pitch in for a called strike. Gustavo Gonzalez has now moved back just a hair onto the dirt at the cut of the grass. He was about 4 steps in on the grass, not squaring the bunt, and a throw over to first. That might have been a check to see if Warner is going to square around with 1 out. Does not square, and there's a ground ball. Could be 2. 6-4, and the throw to first base, swipe tag. And the umpire says he got him. That's another dudette double play, and that will end the inning. 6-4-3. So 2 half innings in a row with dudette double plays. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. We're through 3.5. We're watching the TCCAA Conference Tournament on our VolState Sports Network on YouTube. Tim Reese and Reagan Smith back at Pioneer Field at the Tim Garrett Baseball Complex on the campus of Volunteer State Community College. Move to the bottom of the 4th inning. 4, 5, and 6 due up for Dyersburg State. Rylan Quinones sees a first pitch from Ryan Diggs. Break right across the plate. Quinones led off the 2nd inning with a fly out to left field. Another breaking pitch down in the dirt. These Tuesday games were supposed to have been played yesterday. 4 games on a Monday. But weather has set us back a day. We have beautiful weather today, though. Supposed to be a high in the low to mid 80s. There's a strike called on that river area, the outside corner. 1-2 from Deggs. Same pitch, not called a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Abner Rodriguez confused back behind home plate as well. He was ready to fire that ball around, see if it goes back to the same pitch. Not sure where that missed, if it missed down low. Quinones is a good-sized young man, 6'3". Swing and a miss on a ball 4 high fastball. Down goes Quinones. Diggs just reared back and fired that one for his 5th strikeout. Gustavo Gonzalez walked in the 2nd.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 23, Gustavo Gonzalez.
Dyersburg State's had 2 runners on 2 different times in the 2nd and in the 3rd, but could not push one across. Gustavo Gonzalez walked. Mason Krasnarich singled, but then a strikeout and a strikeout to the 2 Christophers ended the 2nd. 2 runners were on an error and a walk as Gonzalez fouls that one off the inside of his front leg, his left leg. I believe we got, is it a 1-1 count? 1 ball, 1 strike. 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Columbia State, the visitors. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error for Dyersburg State. A double play off the bat of Andy Martine ended the threat into 3rd. There's a bunt straight back to the pitcher. Deggs gloves, Throws to Abbott Lawrence for out number 2. But Dyersburg State did have a runner at third base with 2 outs, and Charlie Davis made a diving, spectacular catch out in left field in the bottom of the third. Mason Krasnarich steps in, 1 for 1 as the only base hit for the Eagles. Just a bit outside. That one got away from Ryan Diggs. A two-way player for Columbia State, not batting today. You'll see him in the lineup, possibly as a DH, 300 batter. That gets off the glove of Rodriguez as well. Has 143 official plate appearances, just second on the club. 43 hits, 2 home runs, 34 RBIs. But now 3 balls and no strikes to Krasnarich. Tallest man on the field, 6'6", takes a 4-pitch walk. Third walk of the ball game. So far, these walks have not come back to haunt Ryan Diggs, but one swing of the bat could tie it up off the bat of Christopher Alvarez. Although he only has 1 home run on the year, so it's not likely. He struck out in his last at-bat. 2 outs, 1 on. Breaking pitch misses down. You can hear a crack of the bat occasionally. That's Roan State out in the batting cages out beyond right field, getting ready for game number 2. We'll have a mound visit. Not sure who that is. I'll have to see if he turns around. Maybe Desi Amons. Got a batting helmet on. It says JP1. Not the initials of either one of the coaches. Desi Amons, former Belmont catcher. Cody Crutcher, co-associate head coach. Athletic director for Columbia State is Katie Willingham. Formerly the softball coach for Columbia State, was also, I think, the head softball coach at Cleveland State. Ended up meeting her when I was trying to broadcast some softball games over there while Columbia State was broadcasting baseball. Very, very cold that day. 1-0 now. No idea where that pitch missed. It's definitely within the frame of the size of the plate, unless it missed down. Diggs struggling to find the strike zone. There's one right down the can. Now 2 balls and a strike. Got a number 24 with a bat in his hand. Gunnar McGran on deck. There's a slow roller that will go foul. Good thing for Columbia State because Preston Shelton airmailed that one over the 6'4" frame of Abbott Lawrence down that right field line. That would have easily been runners at second and third, and Krasnarich had a chance probably to score. But it was caught just in foul territory. Christopher Lugo standing on deck, but it may be one of those options that Robert White goes with a left-handed hitter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. There's a fastball, misses outside. Strike zone getting a little bit tighter for Ryan Diggs now. We'll have a full count. Ministries, a full count. 2 outs, a runner will be off on the pitch. Runner goes, swung on and lifted out to center field. Late break by Andrew Reed. That ball actually is caught by second baseman Merrick Carter. Never even got out to center field. That ball was more off the handle than I had thought. Andrew Reed was totally fooled. But Merrick Carter out on the shortstop side of second base makes a great diving catch and trying to avoid Carter Warner, the shortstop, and another sparkling play by the defense of Columbia State to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. One runner left on base. We're through 4 innings. Columbia State leads 2-0. You're watching the VolState Sports Network. Headed to the top of the 5th inning. And the leadoff batter, Preston Shelton, will lead off for the 3rd inning in the ball games. Led off in the 1st with a base hit, led off in the 3rd with a single up the middle. And now, see if he swings at the first pitch he sees from Anthony Figueroa. He does, and this one does not go into center field. Actually, I guess he did not hit the first pitch in his second at-bat. It was an 0-2 pitch, I believe, and he reached out and got on the outside corner and drove it up the middle. And there's another base hit for Preston Shelton. Anthony Figueroa can't get him out. Shelton 3 for 3, came in hitting .329. Nothing but improving that batting average. Charlie Davis will step in. Came in hitting .408. He's 1 for 2. Squares around the bunt. He pulls the bat back and hits a double play ball that gets booted over to the shortstop. A fortuitous bounce off of Christopher Alvarez at second base. That ball booted right over to Julian Gonzalez, who was right at second base. Steps on the base, and the throw to first base, not in time to get Charlie Davis. It actually got by, but not far enough for Davis to move. So that's a fielder's choice and a 4-6 for out number 1. So the fake bunt hit away does not work for the Chargers. 1 out, 1 on. Jackson Diamond, who's 1 for 1. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and we're going to call batter interference on Jackson Diamond as his swing causes the catcher to be interfered with on the throw down, so that'll be a double play as batter interference. And it looks like Charlie Davis has hurt himself again. He is holding that left shoulder. We're going to be looking for athletic trainer Justin McKinney to go out and see. It looks like there's another trainer here as well, so we'll take a break. Looks like Charlie Davis is going to be coming out of the ball game. You're watching TCCAA conference baseball action on the VolState Sports Network. Well, folks, we thought we were going to the bottom of the fifth, or at least that's what the original ruling was, but we are actually still in the top of the fifth inning. Jackson Diamond will be out on batter interference as his swing brought him over the plate and interfered with the throw down to second base. But Charlie Davis, and now it'll be somebody else that will go in and run for him. He just has to return back to first base. We'll see who the new player is that comes out to first base. I don't know what's going on. They don't have a runner at first base. You have to have a runner at first base. Or no, they're going to call. Okay, that's what it is. Jackson Diamond is not out. The runner is out. Jackson Diamond is still at the plate. I thought the batter was out. So he should have now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. I think it's 1-2 because he swung on the first pitch. Yeah, put 1-2 up there, Qualsey. There you go. All right, so the runner is out. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jackson Diamond. That is a play that you don't see very often, so I have to always go back and Google and check, see what happens. That ball's lifted down to shallow right field toward the line, but Pierre Seals comes over and makes the catch for out number 3. Now, folks, we are done with the top of the fifth inning. Try to fix that in my scorebook, but no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Score still remains 2-0, Columbia State over Dyersburg State. Thanks for watching the TCCAA Conference Tournament on the VolState Sports Network. Tim Reese back in Gallatin, Tennessee for the bottom of the fifth inning. Dyersburg State will send pinch hitter number 24, Gunnar McGran, to face right-handed pitcher Ryan Deggs. He is hitting in Christopher Lugo's spot. He is our Jersey Mike's first sub of the game. I guess he could be the second sub of the game, as Caden Rector is the new left fielder for Columbia State. And for the injured Charlie Davis. McGran was in the on-deck circle when Christopher Alvarez popped out to shallow center field. Another pitch gets way outside from Ryan Deggs. M-A-G-R-A-N-N, McGran. That's another foul ball. 6'1" sophomore, transfer from Golden West College. McGran playing in game number 36, hitting .277. 5 doubles, a triple, and 10 RBIs. Lets a high fastball go by, and we'll have a full count. Ministries full count. Ryan Diggs, a starter, has gone 4 innings, given up 1 hit, walked 3, struck out 5 batters so far, and he strikes out hit number 6 on that outside river. That one is looking, second time that he's gotten an Eagle batter watching.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 8.
Parker Patterson will step in, the 9-hole hitter. He reached on an error by second baseman Merritt Carter in the 3rd inning. Breaking pitch misses in the dirt. I would assume that Gunnar McGran would go out to left field, but there's a chance that there's a different player that goes out to left field in the top of the 6th. We're scheduled for 9 innings in each of the games for the tournament. 2-0 pitch. Misses low and inside. Looks like Diggs has gotten into that, some bouts of wildness. He'll be rolling right along, and then next thing you know, a 4-pitch walk pops up. And he will have a 4-pitch walk here. Ball gets into the dirt, and Ebner Rodriguez hustles near the Dyersburg on-deck circle to retrieve that ball. 4th walk for Ryan Diggs brings the top of the order. Julian Gonzalez back to the plate.
Julian Gonzalez.
Struck out and walked. 1 hit belongs to Mason Krasnarich for Dyersburg State Eagles. There's a fastball on the outside corner, whispered at it. Strike 1. Ryan Diggs came in with an 8.45 ERA, giving up 43 hits in 33 innings. 37 runs, 31 were earned. A walk 26, struck out 40, throws over to first base. Abbott Lawrence hits a reach across Patterson over there at first base to make the catch. Another throw over. Patterson in standing. No balls, 1 strike. Breaking pitch just missed inside. Over across the campus, Walters State taking on Roane State. 7-0. Walters, the #1 team in the conference. In the top of the 6th inning, Roane State batting. The pitch in the dirt blocked by Abner Rodriguez. That's a #1 seed versus a #8 seed. Walters State softball ranked probably in the top 5 in the country. They got maybe the #1 pitcher in the country. Probably 2 of the top pitchers. Top 5 pitchers in the country would be my guess. 2 balls, 1 strike. Check down at first base, and Christian Moffitt says Gonzalez did not go. Diggs 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning, but he's going to have to throw a strike to do it probably. Julian Gonzalez walked in his last at-bat. Now is a 3-ball, 1 strike count with 1 out. And that pitch missed, I guess, up. Back-to-back walks, and that's 5 now for Ryan Diggs. He's pitched around those 5 walks, has not hit a batter. Struck out 6 and only given up 1 base hit. Very dangerous hitter, Andy Martine. But before he comes to the plate, Desi Amons will come back out to talk to his pitcher and catcher. Columbia State 22-24 overall record. 9-11 away from Columbia, Tennessee, as they are here. It's actually called a neutral site, I guess, but it is still away from Columbia. Dyersburg State 13-9 on the year away from their home field. As I said earlier, these two teams split their two conference games. Dyersburg State won game one 2-1 on a walk-off two-run home run by this young man stepping in the box right now, Andy Martine. Then lost 8-3. Columbia State won game two. Cole O'Brien got the win for Columbia State. Dylan King took the loss.
Number 10, Andy Martine.
1 out, 2 on. Both via the walk. Deggs looks back at first and delivers a strike. And that's some complaining going on. I'm guessing maybe thinking the pitch was low. It looked like it was in the zone left to right from the plate from what's been called today. Andy Martine also trying to call timeout again, not granted. Swing and a miss on another breaking pitch. Now down in the count 0-2. That's a healthy cut right there on a high breaking pitch. If that was down just a hair, we might have seen 3 runs on the board for Dyersburg State. That left field parking lot out there containing the team buses. That looks like some red-shirted Volunteer State Pioneers out there. Nice pitch in the dirt, blocked by Rodriguez. Martine started to go, but held up. On deck, Pierre Seals. This inning started with a strikeout looking. A walk to Parker Patterson and a walk to Julian Gonzalez. Put runners at first and second with 1 out. Time called, I think, by Rodriguez. Runner at second base. We're going through a bunch of different signs. Not sure if they have a communication device that's coming from the dugout to the catcher or not, but all kinds of different ways to communicate now. Yanked the fastball low and away. Deggs is wearing something on his left wrist, but it does not appear as though he's looking at it. Maybe it's a vibration or something, but there's high fastball fouled straight back. Martine struck out looking in the first and grounded into a 5-4-3 double play, which is exactly what Columbia State's looking for here. Carter Warner, the shortstop, playing in the hole, basically, not at double play depth, expecting Martine to pull. Preston Shelton right on the line at third base. There's a breaking pitch, just missed. Somewhere. I'm guessing down again, has to. Count goes full. We'll have a full count. Ministries full count. This is game 1 of the tournament. Game 2 will feature the number 1 team in all the land, Walters State. We'll play Roan State following this ball game. There's ball 4. Bases are loaded with walks. Brings Pierre Seals to the plate. Got a right-hander warming in the Roan State bullpen. I'm sorry, not the Roan State, Columbia State. Everybody's a state around here. We don't have Tennessee State playing, though, do we? So we've got a pitching change. We'll tell you about the new pitcher for Columbia State when we return on the VolState Sports Network. Summit Concrete call to the bullpen for Columbia State. In relief of Ryan Deggs is Eli Henderson. Henderson, a 5'11", 185-pound redshirt freshman from Bethpage, Tennessee, attended Trousdale County High School, and he is on for his 17th appearance. Was tied with Patrick Green in appearances, but just taking the lead in his 16th appearance in relief. Has a 3-2 record, 4.67 ERA, 34 plus innings of work, 28 hits, 26 runs, 18 earned, 15 walks, 29 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .222 off of Eli Henderson, who is on in relief of Ryan Deggs, who went 4 1/3 innings, giving up only 1 hit, but walked 6, struck out 6, and all 3 runners on base are his responsibility. 1 out, and the bases are juiced. Pierre Seals, the 3-hole hitter, steps in. 9 home runs, 37 RBIs. The first pitch he sees is out in that left-handed batter's box for a called strike. Seals just ever so slightly rolls that head back, and can't believe that pitch was called a strike. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch. Now down in the count 0-2. And Henderson gets Seals on another low and outside breaking pitch. I don't believe any of those 3 pitches made it across the plate.
Next bat for the Eagles, number 33,
Rylan
Rylan Quinones.
Quinones steps in. Flew out to left and struck out. Another breaking pitch. Quinones comes up empty. Caden Rector, the new left fielder for the injured Charlie Davis, injured himself sliding into second base on basically a play that ends up not happening as the batter interfered with the catcher. Eli Henderson now ahead in the count, 0-2, as he's come in relief of Ryan Deggs. Struck out the first batter that he sees. Trying to get Quinones on strike. Just now noticed that the flag, I guess, has been lowered to half staff. It's been ordered to be flown in half staff for the next 4 days, and there is again, Abner Rodriguez is confused. The pitch has been a strike several times today, but not on that 0-2 pitch. Entire right side of the infield was heading off. The tragedy, the multiple killings down in Allen, Texas a few days ago. Driven out to left field. Caden Rector started back, and that ball will fall in front. Rylan Quinones has come up with a 2-out base hit to drive in 2 runs and tie this ball game. Rector started to go back and then came in. That ball fell in front of him. Not sure if he would have come right away as to whether or not he would have been able to make that catch. It would have had to have been a diving catch probably, but clutch knock by Rylan Quinones. Now Gustavo Gonzalez steps in with 2 on and 2 out. So the walks, 2 of the 3 walks come back to haunt here in this inning. Gonzalez looks at the first pitch down low. Andy Martin down at second base. Rylan Quinones at first. Gustavo Gonzalez walked and grounded back to the pitcher on a bunt attempt. Was bunting for a hit. There's a throw back to second base. Martine back in time. I'll look up the half staff for the flag. It says, as a mark of respect for the victims of the senseless acts of violence perpetrated on May 6th in Allen, Texas, President Biden has ordered all flags to be fly at half staff. There's a base hit in the left field. Rector charges, but he won't have a play on Martine, and Dyersburg State has taken the lead on two-out singles. So you can close the books now on Ryan Deggs, who ends up giving up 3 runs, all earned. Now Mason Krasnarich steps in.
Next bat for the Eagles, number 35, Mason Krasnarich.
So the Eagles now have 3 runs and 3 hits. 6 free bases on walks. Tough to defend. Dyersburg State has come up with some clutch hits here with 2 outs. They're a good ball club, folks, no question. The only team in the conference to sweep the Pioneers, VolState. Drive out to center field. Andrew Reed over into right center field. He comes in and makes the catch for out number 3. 8 batters come to the plate for Dyersburg State. 3 were walked, 2 drove in runs with singles. Dyersburg State now has the lead 3-2, and we are through 5 innings on the VolState Sports Network. Carter Davis steps in for Columbia State to face Anthony Figueroa back out there now for the first time with the lead for Dyersburg State. Swing and a miss by Carter Davis. Davis struck out in the first and singled in the third. Fastball misses way outside. New second baseman for Dyersburg State, Case Pettis, has come in. I would assume he will bat in that 8th spot where Gunnar McGran had pinch hit for Christopher Lugo. Christopher Alvarez moves out to left field for the Eagles. Fly ball out to right field. Pierre Seals has it measured and will come in and make the catch for out number 1. 5-hole hitter Abbott Lawrence steps in. He had a sacrifice fly in the third inning.
Number 44, Abbott Lawrence.
Drive in the second run for the Chargers. Look at a changeup on the outside corner. A steady diet of off-speed pitches is what Abbott Lawrence has seen. Nobody on, 1 out. 3 runs in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Dyersburg State has taken the lead 3-2. Fisted out of play off to the right side. On deck, Merrick Carter. Merrick is M-E-R-I-K. Lawrence down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and he will look at a fastball outside. Roan State still hitting down in the batting cage in right field. The change up misses down. Hope another full count Ministries, full count. Figueroa delivers. And another changeup gets Lawrence out in front. First strikeout for Figueroa since the 3rd inning. His 6th now, and he will face left-handed hitting Merrick Carter. Grounded out to the right side of the infield twice, once to the second baseman and once to the first baseman. Fisted, that'll go just off the brick wall down the third base line. Kicks out and to fair territory, so we'll have to wait for somebody to come out of that bullpen and retrieve that baseball. Thanks to the American Legion Post 17 for operating the concession stands here. Just missed Merrick Carter there with that fastball. Greg Johnson and Debbie and Brenda and Gary, host of others, not only here at the baseball venue, but softball as well. They have a wide variety of food to offer. I'm not a bologna guy, but they have real bologna sandwiches, mesquite grilled chicken, brats. 3 balls, 1 strike to Carter, and he will take a 4-pitch walk, and he's happy that ball didn't hit him. Not a 4-pitch walk, a 5-pitch walk, but a walk nonetheless. The 3rd for Anthony Figueroa. Don't believe we have live stats going, although Dyersburg does do that on occasion. Not sure how many pitches Anthony Figueroa has thrown.
Abner Rodriguez.
Abner Rodriguez steps in with 1 on and 2 out. Third baseman Gustavo Gonzalez possibly expecting a bunt. Not sure why, maybe. Rodriguez will lay one down from time to time. Nothing that I know of. Now Gustavo Gonzalez back deep at third base, close to the line. The tapper right back to the pitcher, Anthony Figueroa, trying to beat Rodriguez over to first base. Ultimately underhands to Quinones to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. One runner left on base. Headed to the bottom of the 6th inning. Dyersburg State leads 3-2. You're watching YouTube channel on the VolState Sports Network. Tim Reese and Reagan Smith back at Pioneer Field, campus of VolState Community College.
Alvarez.
Game 1 of a quadruple header today. Columbia State down to Dyersburg State now 3-2. Eli Henderson delivers the first pitch to Christopher Alvarez as he was squaring around the bunt, and Alvarez able to pull not only the bat back, but his body as well to get out of the way of that fastball. Henderson came on in relief in the 5th inning, or Ryan Deggs, there's a fastball in there for a called strike. Retired the first batter he saw, but then gave up 2 run-scoring singles before getting the 3rd out of the inning. 3 runs were charged to Ryan Deggs, but inherited runners charged to Eli Henderson, who came in with 1 out and bases loaded. Now up in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Misses away with that breaking pitch. If they're live statting this one, I can't find it, so 2-2 pitch fouled off. Full count, Ministries full count to Christopher Alvarez, now out in left field. Another walk. First walk given up by Henderson, but the 7th walk of the game to a Dyersburg State Eagle. Case Pettis stepping in. He's now in that 8 hole.
Now batting for the Eagles.
Originally
Number 14.
manned by Christopher Lugo. Gunnar McGran pinch hit for him in the 5th. Now Case Pettis getting his first AB of the ball game. Throw over to first, not in time. Pettis playing in game number 41, hitting .257, 2 home runs, 24 RBIs. Has 2 doubles and a triple. 27 hits. He will square around the bunt, pitches high, pulls the bat back. On deck, Parker Patterson. The throw to first base. Case Pettis, 5'10", sophomore, transfer from Hill College. Again, I don't have information about their hometowns. There's a strike on that outside corner. Case Pettis does not offer. Makes me wonder if he's actually trying to bunt or if he's just a fake bunt up there. That was a pretty good pitch to bunt. Squaring around again. Pulls the bat back and apparently does not pull the bat back. Home plate umpire says he went. As Robert White down to third base drops his head down, hands on his knees, and not executing the sacrifice bunt. Pettis has 5 sacrifice hits. Now picks up his 31st strikeout of the year. The 8-hole has not been kind to Dyersburg State. 3 different batters in that position, and all 3 have struck out. It's the second strikeout for Eli Henderson. Parker Patterson steps in. Throw over to first. Patterson leads the squad with 10 doubles. Andy Martine with the most total bases and the highest slugging percentage on the squad at .650. There's a tapper to third base. Shelton on to second, and the return throw to first base, and that is another dat double play. And the second 5-4-3 turned by Columbia State. Good defense right there. Just what the doctor ordered to get Eli Henderson out of the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. Got a tight one here, 2/3 of the way through. Dyersburg State leads Columbia State 3-2. Top of the 7th we go. Columbia State send 8, 9, and 1 to the plate to face Anthony Figueroa. Figueroa has 3 complete games this year, but I'm not sure how many 9-inning games that he's gone to. I can check the stats on that. He typically throws, from what I've seen, in game 3 of the set, which is typically a 7-inning game. Andrew Reed struck out and walked at the plate. Center fielder for Columbia State. Columbia State scored 1 in the first inning, 1 in the third. Dyersburg State with 3 in the bottom of the 5th inning. There's a strike called. Andrew Reed took that almost like it was a 2-0 pitch, but count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on the batter. Wind starting to pick up a little bit coming from that northwest. Change up misses low and away. From left center toward right field. Just got a piece of that, did Andrew Reed, to fight that good pitch off. Figueroa's gone 6 innings, struck out 6, walked 3, given up 6 hits. Ground ball to short. Gonzalez stays down and gloves and throws on to Quinones at first. Julian Gonzalez played third base when Pioneers went up to Dyersburg State, and he was absolutely flawless over there at third base. Good looking infielder. Been moved over to shortstop now, and that looks smooth as silk. Christopher Alvarez now in left field. Andy Martin still in center. Pierre Seals still out in right. Andy Martin has moved over to right center field with Carter Warner stepping to the plate. Time was called. A ball apparently got away down in the Dyersburg State bullpen. Popped up down the right side, but that will not be playable. Pierre Seals gave it a good chase. It lands just inside the fence in front of the bullpen. It is quiet for now for Columbia State. Ryan Diggs went 4 1/3 innings, and he was dodging a bit of wildness. Only gave up 1 hit, but walked 6 batters, and the last 3 that he walked was in the 1 inning. There's another ground ball to second base. Pettis up and over to Quinones. 2 up, 2 down. And the thorn in the side for Anthony Figueroa steps to the plate. Preston Shelton, who has 3 singles. A line drive over the head of Figueroa in the first. A ground ball just to the left of Figueroa in the third. Then a line drive into right field in the 5th. He's up with 2 out and nobody on, and fists that one up out to right field. This is in the air, and Pierre Seals will make the catch for a 1-2-3 inning. Figueroa is cruising now. So we will head to the bottom of the 7th inning on the VolState Sports Network. Leadoff batter Julian Gonzalez steps in for Dyersburg. 0 for 1 with 2 walks and a run scored. Facing Eli Henderson, the second pitcher for Columbia State. Time is called. I think Abner Rodriguez had an equipment issue, or maybe a communication device issue, as he gets a sign, looks down, maybe an armband, gives the signs, it looks like with his fingers, as Julian Gonzalez drives one to center field. Andrew Reed went back again, and that ball falls into center field. Julian Gonzalez will end up with a double after right fielder Carter Davis come all the way over from right field to try to make a diving catch, and that ball was hit straight away to center field. Andrew Reed is struggling to see the ball off the bat. That will be a gift double. Gonzalez's first hit in the fourth hit of the game
Now batting for the Eagles, number 10.
for Dyersburg State. Time is called as head coach Robert White comes down from his third base coach's box to talk to Andy Martine about his at-bat. Ball was lifted high into the air. Got some clouds here. It's not like it's a really high sky at all, as they would say, but somehow another Andrew Reed is struggling to find as he's kneeled down right now. Looks like he's trying to make a repair or maybe tie his shoe, but now he's got his glove on and stands up. It's the first extra base of the ball game for either team. Breaking pitch blocked by Rodriguez. Still a quiet bullpen down at Columbia State. Desi Amons and Cody Crutcher, the associate co-head coaches or co-associate head coaches, letting it ride with Eli Henderson. Going to throw back to second base. Merrick Carter has to make a diving catch. Otherwise, that was going to hit Julian Gonzalez, and I think that right hamstring. Martine 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored, grounded into a double play in the third. Ground ball to third base this time. Preston Shelton up and over to Lawrence for the first out of the inning. Not sure what the conversation was between Robert White and Andy Martine, but I'm pretty confident it wasn't that. Pierre Seals will step in. He's 0 for 3.
Next to bat for the Eagles, number 5, Pierre Seals.
Eli Henderson in his 16 appearances prior to this, typically going about 2 innings of work. He is now in his second full inning. He's now faced 9 batters. Pierre Seals was the first batter that he faced with the bases loaded and 1 out, and he struck out Seals, but he doesn't strike him out this time. There's a line drive into center field. Andrew Reed up with it. Throw to the plate is up the first base line, and Julian Gonzalez will come in to score the 4th run of the ball game for Dyersburg. Nice strong throw there by Reed, but playing pretty deep. Pierre Seals now 1 for 4 with an RBI. Brings up Rylan Quinones, who's 1 for 3.
Rylan Quinones.
Hit a 2-run single with 2 outs and the bases loaded in that 3-run 5th inning. Popped up to right field. Carter Davis over toward the line, and he's continuing to run, makes the catch in foul territory. Pierre Seals will go back to first base. Nice running play by Carter Davis. Two outs now for the Eagles. Gustavo Gonzalez steps in.
Next to bat for the Eagles. number
He's 1 for
23,
2, singled and drove in a run
Gonzalez.
in the 5th. Walked in the second, was out on a bunt attempt, throw over to first base, and Seals back in time. Walter State faces Roane State in game 2. Volunteer State plays Southwest Tennessee in Game 3. Is a swing and a miss. And the final game of the day will be Chattanooga State hosting Motlow State. 2-7 matchup. Roan State, the 9 seed, got ahead of Cleveland State in the play-in game. Pitches outside, throw down to first base. Abbott Lawrence was doing all he could do just to make sure he could catch that ball. Wasn't even worried about trying to slap a tag on. Pitch was outside. One ball, one strike to the third baseman. Now looks at a called strike 2. On deck, Mason Krasnarich. There's a swing and a miss. Down goes Gonzalez on strikes. Eagles add to their lead now 4-2. A double and a single drove in the 4th run. We're through 7 innings. Dyersburg State leaves 4-2. You're listening to the VolState Sports Network. Summit Concrete call to the bullpen for Dyersburg State. Number 16, Nate Kreider, on in relief of Anthony Figueroa, 6'4" right-handed sophomore, transfer from Connors State College. On relief to face 2, 3, and 4. Caden Rector on for his first at-bat of the ball game. Rector in there with a fastball. Rector came on for Charlie Davis, who was injured on a stolen base attempt. Like a left shoulder may have been out of whack. May have jammed it as he head first slid into second base. Rector from Knoxville, Tennessee, Bearden High School. Just transfer from West Carolina. Sees that breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Now down in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rector playing in game number 29, hitting .216 on the season. 11 hits, 4 RBIs. Has walked 8 times, been hit by a pitch twice. Looking to get on any way he can to put the tying run on base, and there's a called strike. As that ball whispers out the outside corner. Rector goes down looking. Jackson Diamond steps in. He's 1 for 2, walked and singled in the 3rd. He was at the plate when Charlie Davis was on first. Either a hit and run or just a straight up steal, but Jackson Diamond swung at the pitch. And as Parker Patterson's going to throw down to second base, Diamond's swing carried him across home plate. Throw went down to second. Originally, they called it a double play and said the batter was out and the runner was out. But after a conversation by the umpires and discussion with the coaches, determined that the runner is out and the batter stays in the box. And Jackson Diamond swings at a breaking pitch in the dirt. Not his shining moment in that at-bat. That Nate Kreider threw some nasty pitches there.
Next to bat for the Chargers.
2 up, 2 strikeouts for Nate Kreider, and Carter Davis steps to the plate. 1 for 3. Carter Davis, 8 home runs, 29 RBIs. Kreider got that breaking pitch working. Dyersburg State has one of the best closers in the country. He's the #1 closer in the conference. He's got 6 saves, and that's Preston Martinez. Probably see him in the 9th. I believe that's him warming up down there in the bullpen. Tied for 13th in the country in saves with 6. 2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. And that is, in fact, Preston Martinez in the line or in the bullpen. There's a strikeout looking right on that outside corner. That's a good pitch right there. And Nate Kreider looked good in the 8th, struck out all 3 batters he faced. We're heading to the bottom of the 8th inning. Dyersburg State still leads 4-2. You're watching TCCAA conference action on the VolState Sports Network. Tim Reese and Reagan Smith back at VolState Community College in Gallatin, Tennessee, hosting the Tennessee Community College Athletic Association Region 7 baseball and softball tournament. Mason Krasnarich swings and misses at the first offering from Eli Henderson. Looked like a changeup that went away from the left-handed hitting DH. 1 for 2 on the day, singled and walked. Fastball misses outside. Dyersburg State looking to get some insurance runs here. The #4 seed in the tournament facing the #5 seeded Columbia State Chargers. Foul tipped into the glove for strike 2. On deck, Christopher Alvarez. 1-2 pitch, right down the middle of the plate. Krasnarich obviously not looking for that pitch. Fourth strikeout by Henderson. Brings to the plate the left fielder, Christopher Alvarez.
Chris Alvarez.
0 for 2 with a walk. On the roster, it does indicate that he is called Chris Alvarez. On the stat sheet, it indicates Christopher. Guessing his mom and dad probably called him Christopher, and everybody else calls him Chris. Pops that 2-0 pitch up into the infield. Let's see who's going to take that. Merritt Carter, second baseman, will catch that on the second base side of, on the right side of the infield. Merritt Carter, second time that he's retired Alvarez on a pop-up. The first time was a diving catch as he was trying to avoid shortstop Carter Warner in the fourth inning. Excellent defensive play by Merritt Carter as Case Pettis slices one down the first base line. It goes foul. Pettis struck out in the sixth inning. Dyersburg State looking to get something from this 8th slot in their batting order. 3 different batters have gone down on strikes. Swing and a miss. Henderson a strike away from retiring Pettis on strikes for the second time. Long look in at the sign and 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Abner Rodriguez able to tag the runner out. 5th strikeout and a 1-2-3 inning for Eli Henderson. We're going to the 9th. Columbia State needs 2 to stay in. You are watching the VolState Sports Network. Top of the 9th. Columbia State has some work to do, and they'll do it off of Nate Kreider, as head coach Robert White is elected to leave. The only pitcher on the Dyersburg Eagles roster that has a save this year. Preston Martinez has all 6. Abbott Lawrence facing Nate Kreider. First pitch in there for a called strike. 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Swing and a miss on a off-speed pitch that dives down at the plate. Abbott Lawrence, the conference leader in strikeouts, is the hitter. Not where you want to lead. And he strikes out for the 3rd time on a breaking pitch. That is 4 strikeouts in a row for Nate Kreider. Struck out everyone that he's faced. Merritt Carter steps to the plate. 0 for 2 with a walk. Chargers looking to get somebody on to bring the tying run to the plate. Winner of this game faces the winner of game 2 between Walter State and Roan State. Loser of game 1 will play the loser of game 2. This is game 1. Want to try to avoid that loser's bracket right on the first day, basically, of the tournament. And there's another walk to Merritt Carter. Now the tying run does come to the plate. Abner Rodriguez, we have had one first home run of the
Next to bat for the Chargers, number 14.
career or
Abner
series
Rodriguez.
already. Trying to remember who that was that hit his first home run. Maybe a Kylan Joyner yesterday. Not sure if that was his first or second. Swing on a breaking pitch, fouled at the plate. Typically you'll see if somebody walks in front of a batter, especially in the 9th inning, coach will say, hey, take till you get a strike. So to me, different coaching mantra there. I'd be taking, especially if batter in front of me walked. Now down in the count 0-1. Nice block by Parker Patterson, the freshman behind the plate. Abner Rodriguez hitting .295 coming into today's game. 0 for 3 and lined out the second, flew out the center and grounded out back to the pitcher. Swing and a miss. Sharp breaking pitch there. Slider from Nate Kreider. Kreider making his 21st appearance of this season. That ties him with Preston Martinez for the most on the squad. And there's a breaking pitch right over the heart of the plate. Beautiful looking pitch. 5th strikeout by Kreider, and he's 1 out away from getting his first save of the year. At least according to the stats that I've pulled off of the National Junior College
Now batting for the Chargers, number 11.
Athletic Association website. I will say that I have seen some egregious looking scorekeeping even in this tournament already. On base hits, or yesterday there was 2 singles that were apparently showing up in the box score as 2 doubles for a Motlow State batter. Breaking pitch misses down to Andrew Reed. With 2 outs and a runner on, Andrew Reed has 6 home runs, 26 RBIs. He could pop one out of here, tie this ball game with 1 swing. Columbia State looking for that to happen. Fastball gets in there on the inside corner for a called strike. Martinez has sat down now, and apparently come in if he's needed. He's ready. Another pitch on the inside corner. Andrew Reed can't believe it. Gregory Bacchus with a wide zone at times behind the plate. Two-2 pitch. Driven out to left field. Alvarez not able to make the play. That ball will go to the fence. They will hold the runner at third. That will be a double by Andrew Reed. Looked like Alvarez misplayed that one. Now a tying run standing out at second base. It's the first hit for Columbia State since the 5th inning, and their first extra base hit. Robert White, the head coach for Dyersburg State, talking to home plate umpire Gregory Bacchus. Comes out to have a conference. And looks like Preston Martinez is going to get back up in the bullpen. Runners now at second and third. Carter Warner, the 9-hole hitter, who's 0 for 3, will get a chance to drive in the tying runs. Alvarez, that was a line drive right out at him, or actually just a little bit over his head, and it's one of the hardest plays for an outfielder, is a ball hit right at you. on the line. It's tough to gauge where that ball is. Is it in front of you? Is it right at you? Or is it over your head? And that one happened to be over the head of left fielder Chris Alvarez, who started at second base. Again, Andrew Reed has had trouble reading the ball off the bat. Maybe Alvarez did as well. That ball got over his head and got to the wall. 320 down the lines, 345 in the alleys, 380 to dead center field here with a 30-foot wall out there, 25, 30-foot wall. Carter Warner looks at a fastball in too tight. Leadoff batter Preston Shelton, who's 3 for 4, standing on deck, hoping to get an at-bat here in the ninth. Warner swings and fouls that fastball off. Yeah, but Lawrence struck out. Merritt Carter walked. Abner Rodriguez struck out, and Andrew Reed drilled a double to the fence in left field. Breaking pitch that Warner just gets a piece of off the handle, and he's now down to his last strike. Nate Kreider looking to pick up his first save of the year. Anthony Figueroa trying to move to 7-5 on the season. Line drive, if it's fair, it's trouble, and it is a foul ball by just maybe a foot, and then it hits water out down that right field line. That was oh so close to a tie ball game. Carter Warner about did it on that pitch. Called by Christian Moffitt down there. He was right on the line. That looked like that had double written all over it. Pierre Seals had no chance at making that play. But all he needed to do is just get it down into the green, and Andrew Reed would have scored the tying run. Nate Kreider takes a big, deep breath and steps back in there. No harm, no foul, except it was foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oh, my goodness. A late call by the home plate umpire rings up Carter Warner. The 6th strikeout for Nate Kreider. That pitch looked low and inside to me, no question. I'm sure Carter Warner believed the same thing. But Dyersburg State holds on. Nate Kreider gets his first save. Columbia State scores no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 2 runners left on base. Final score, Dyersburg State 4, Columbia State 2. Columbia State will await the loser of the next game between Walter State and Roane State. And they will play tomorrow at 10 a.m. Dyersburg State will play tomorrow at 4:30, awaiting the winner of Walter State-Roane State game. Winning pitcher Anthony Figueroa moves to 7-5. Losing pitcher Ryan Deggs, he will fall to 2-3 on the season. And Nate Kreider gets his first save of the year, and the first save by any other pitcher for Dyersburg State other than Preston Martinez. So a game that takes 2 hours and 34 minutes. Dyersburg State wins game 1 of the TCCAA baseball tournament here in Gallatin, Tennessee, on the campus of Volunteer State Community College. This is Tim Reese for Reagan Smith, my producer, and we will be back with game 2 between Walter State and Roane State. Join us then on the VolState Sports Network.